You aren't peaceful, you are just harmless, and you've spent your entire life pretending those two things are the same. Look at yourself. Really look. You take pride in your niceness. You celebrate the fact that you've never started a fight, never raised your voice in a way that truly rattled the windows, never felt the weight of your own hands and known, with absolute certainty, that they could break the world around you. You call this virtue. You call it being a good man. But there is a cold, hard truth waiting for you in the dark, and it is this: morality without the capacity for its opposite is not a choice. It is a biological necessity of the weak. If you are a rabbit, you don't get credit for not eating the fox. You don't eat the fox because you can't. You are a vegetarian because your teeth aren't sharp enough for meat, not because you've had some grand spiritual awakening about the sanctity of life. Most people who think they are good are simply in a state of permanent involuntary surrender. They are domestic animals who have forgotten that the fence wasn't built to keep them safe, but to keep them useful. You have been declawed, defanged, and housebroken, and you have the audacity to call your inability to bite pacifism. It's a comfortable lie, isn't it? It's much easier to believe you're a saint than to admit you're a coward. It's easier to tell yourself that you choose the high road than to face the fact that you're terrified of what happens on the low one. Think about the last time someone truly disrespected you. Not a small slight, a real violation. Someone spoke to your partner in a way that made your skin crawl. Someone pushed you in a crowd just to see if you'd move. Someone looked you in the eye and took something that was yours because they knew you wouldn't do a damn thing about it. In that moment, your heart started racing. Your throat felt tight. Your hands might have even shaken a little. You told yourself you were staying calm. You told yourself you were the bigger person. But you weren't being big. You were shrinking. You were feeling the agonizing friction of a man who has no teeth trying to growl. You went home and you played it back in your head. You thought of all the things you should have said, all the things you could have done, but you didn't do them because you couldn't. You lacked the internal permission to be dangerous. And that lack of permission is what you've spent your whole life calling character. We live in a world that is obsessed with the idea of the gentleman. We are told from the moment we can crawl that aggression is a sickness, that strength is a threat, that the ideal human being is a smooth, rounded stone that never scratches anyone. We are taught to be manageable. And so, you've become manageable. You've become predictable. You've become the kind of person who can be pushed, prodded, and redirected by anyone with a louder voice or a sharper edge. But here is the problem with being harmless. When the wolf actually shows up, and make no mistake, the wolf always shows up. Your niceness is worthless. Your gentle soul won't protect your children. Your moral superiority won't stop a hand from reaching across a table and taking your dignity. A man who cannot be dangerous is a man who cannot protect anything. Not his family, not his values, not even his own soul. If you don't have the capacity for violence, then your peace is just a lack of options. It is a default setting. And a virtue that is a default setting isn't a virtue at all. It's a cage. Consider the nature of true strength. It isn't found in the man who is constantly looking for a fight. That man is just a different kind of broken. He's a slave to his impulses. No, true strength is found in the man who could end the room but chooses to hold his hand. Think of a sword. A sword is a terrifying thing. It is designed for one purpose: to cut, to pierce, to destroy. But a sword in its sheath is a symbol of peace. Why? Because the peace is maintained by the presence of the blade. The sheath isn't there to hide the fact that the sword is sharp. It's there to manage the power that everyone knows is inside. If the sheath is empty, there is no peace. There is only the illusion of safety until someone decides to check. You are an empty sheath. You are walking through a dangerous world, pretending that because you don't have a blade, nobody will ever try to cut you. You've mistaken your vulnerability for a shield. This is the anatomy of cowardice. It's a slow, creeping rot that begins when you decide that conflict is the worst thing that can happen to you. You start compromising. You start rounding off your edges. You stop standing for things because standing for things is dangerous. It draws attention. It invites friction. You tell yourself you're being flexible. You tell yourself you're being tolerant. But really, you're just terrified of the cost of being firm. You've traded your spine for a comfortable seat at a table you didn't even want to be at. And the worst part? You've started to resent the people who haven't made that trade. When you see a man who is capable of being dangerous, a man who carries himself with the quiet, heavy weight of someone who knows exactly what he could do if pushed, you call him toxic, you call him primitive. You do this because his presence reminds you of what you've buried. He is a mirror, and in that mirror you see your own domesticity. You see the leash you've put on yourself. You hate him because he has the one thing you've spent your life pretending you don't need, the power to say no and mean it, because that's what this is really about. The capacity for violence is the foundation of the word. If you cannot back up your boundaries with the threat of force, physical, mental, or spiritual, then your boundaries don't exist. They are just suggestions. They are requests that you are making to the world, hoping that the world will be nice enough to honor them. But the world isn't nice. The world is a place of competing wills. It is a place where entropy and predatory instincts are always looking for a soft place to land. And if you are soft, you will be landed on. This is where the snap happens. This is where the mirror breaks. You think you are being a good person by being harmless. But look at the consequences of your harmless. When you see injustice and you stay quiet because you're afraid of the fallout, are you being good? When you allow yourself to be bullied into silence at work or in your social circle, are you being virtuous? When you fail to provide a sense of absolute security for the people who look to you for leadership, are you being peaceful? No. You are being an accomplice to your own destruction. True virtue is not the absence of the monster. True virtue is having the monster, knowing it intimately, and keeping it on a very short chain. This is the psychology of the virtuous monster. It's the concept that Jung talked about when he spoke of integrating the shadow. You have a dark side. You have a capacity for cruelty, for aggression, for absolute destruction. Most people spend their lives running away from that part of themselves. They lock it in a basement and pretend it doesn't exist. But a funny thing happens when you lock something in a basement. It doesn't go away. It just gets hungry. It rots. It turns into something twisted and pathetic. Your repressed aggression doesn't disappear. It just turns into passive aggressiveness. It turns into sarcasm, into bitterness, into a weak, sniveling resentment that leaks out of you like toxic waste. You aren't a warrior. You're a nice guy who is secretly boiling with rage because the world isn't giving you the respect you think you deserve for being so good. But the world doesn't respect nice. The world respects integrated. An integrated man has gone down into that basement. He has sat with his monster. He has looked it in the eye and recognized it as his own. He has taken that energy, that raw primal power, and he has welded it to his intellect and his morality. He doesn't want to hurt anyone. In fact, he is often the gentlest person in the room, but he is gentle because he is dangerous. He can afford to be kind because he knows that his kindness is a choice, not a survival strategy. When he speaks, people listen, not because he is loud, but because there is a weight behind his words. There is a or else hanging in the air that doesn't need to be spoken. It's written in his posture. It's etched into the way he holds eye contact. It's the quiet rumble of an engine that has 500 horsepower but is currently idling at a stoplight. You don't have that rumble. You have the silence of a bicycle, and that's why you feel so fragile. That's why the modern world feels so overwhelming to you. You are trying to navigate a landscape of wolves while pretending that being a very polite sheep will keep you off the menu. It won't. The only way to find true peace is to become the kind of person who could win the war. Peace is the reward of the victor or the mercy of the powerful. It is never the achievement of the victim. You need to stop being so damn proud of your weakness. You need to stop using morality as a cover for your fear of confrontation. You need to start the long, uncomfortable process of growing your teeth back. This doesn't mean you go out and start fights. It doesn't mean you become a bully. It means you develop the capacity. You train your body. You sharpen your mind. You lean into the things that scare you. You stop apologizing for taking up space. You start looking at the darker parts of your nature, your capacity for anger, your desire for dominance, and instead of flinching, you ask yourself, how can I use this? How can you use that anger to protect the weak? How can you use that desire for dominance to build something that matters? How can you use your capacity for violence to ensure that violence, because that is the ultimate paradox. The more dangerous a man is, the less he actually has to fight. When you carry yourself with the aura of someone who is capable of total, decisive action, the bullies tend to look for easier targets. The disrespect tends to evaporate before it even starts. The world opens up for you because it realizes that it can't just push you over. But you aren't there yet. Right now, you're still clinging to the nice guy mask. You're still looking in the mirror and telling yourself that your cowardice is actually grace. You think you're being a saint, but you're just being a casualty. Look at your hands. Really look at them. What are they actually capable of? If someone you loved was being hurt right in front of you, what could those hands really do? If the answer makes you feel sick, if the answer is not much, then don't you dare call yourself a good man. A good man is a dangerous man who has himself under control. A nice man is just a man who hasn't been tested, and the test is coming. It's always coming. The world is not getting safer. The wolves are not becoming vegetarian. The only thing that has changed is that you've been convinced that your vulnerability is a virtue. You've been talked into disarming yourself in a room full of people who still have their knives. It's time to stop the lie. It's time to stop pretending that your harmlessness is a gift to the world. It's not. It's a burden. It's a burden to your partner, who can't fully lean into you because they know you can't hold the weight of a real threat. It's a burden to your children, who are learning from you how to be victim. It's a burden to your community, which is one man weaker because you refuse to be strong. You have been told that the dangerous man is the problem. But the dangerous man is the only thing that has ever stood between civilization and the void. The man who can fight but chooses not to is the pillar upon which everything else is built. He is the guardian. He is the protector. He is the one who makes peace a reality rather than just a nice idea. You have the seed of that man inside you. It's there, buried under years of social conditioning, under layers of polite education and civilized fear. It's that little spark of heat you feel in your chest when you see something. It's that cold clarity that hits you when you're pushed too far. Don't suppress it. Don't drown it in niceness. Feed it. Learn how to be dangerous. Not so you can hurt people, but so that nobody can ever hurt what you represent. Not so you can be a monster, but so that you can stand in the way of the real monsters and say no further. Virtue is a mountain, and you can't climb a mountain if your legs are broken. Strength is the prerequisite for goodness. Power is the prerequisite for mercy. If you want to be a truly good man, you have to first be a man who is capable of being a very bad one. You have to have the sword. You have to know how to use it, and then, and only then, can you choose to leave it in the sheath. Until then, you're just a rabbit praying that the fox is in a good mood. And that's not a life. That's just a stay of execution. Go to the mirror. Look yourself in the... Strip away the excuse. Strip away the good guy identity. Look at the man underneath the conditioning. Is he a guardian? Or is he just a hostage? Is he a peaceful warrior? Or is he just a harmless citizen? The world is waiting for your answer. And the wolves are watching. What are you actually capable of? Think about it. Truly think about it. Because the next time the glass breaks at 3 a.m., or the next time someone tries to take your dignity, your niceness won't be the thing that saves you. Only the monster. The question is, have you fed yours lately? Or are you still pretending he doesn't exist?